elves and men and orcs. A great battle long ago. The Dead Marshes. Yes, that is the name.
No offense, but I really don't care.
Hello guys, and welcome to another video of Trace and Animate. On this episode, we'll be tracing and animating Sméagol from Lord of the Rings, but we're gonna put him with Harry Potter, so let's get right into it. Now, usually the videos that I've been tracing and animating have been about 10 minutes, so this one's gonna be 15 minutes because it did take much longer than all the other videos I've done. So most of the ones that I've done have been a little over and under an hour, but this one was an hour and 15 minutes. So instead of 10 minutes, I'm gonna make this one 15 minutes. So with this one, I started with a different approach, whereas most of the videos that I've done so far, I've started with the head. But with this one, I decided to start with the body, and then we're going to finish with the head last. So Sméagol had, wow, this guy had a lot of details. I got this, all the pictures that I get are from Google, so I just download the pictures from there, and then that is what I use for tracing, and then after tracing, that's when we animate. So here I just started with the basic little details for his hands. Again, with most of the trace and animate videos, you know, we try to go for the minimal look, but then in some cases it's really difficult for a character that's not minimal, and this character was not minimal at all. But he wasn't also as challenging as I thought I would, because I left him for last because I was actually dreading to trace and animate this picture. But once I got started, I realized that I'd actually overestimated the amount of work that I thought it would take, but it ended up taking less than I thought it would, and I actually enjoyed it. But again, the final result, it doesn't really look like Sméagol, but you know, if someone had to look at it, they would be like, ah, that's Sméagol. So yeah, so with this one, what I'm gonna do is that for the final scene that you saw at the beginning, so right now I haven't created it, so if you're watching this video, then it's in the future. I've already created the opening scene, but as of now I haven't created it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record myself, you know, doing my best impression of Harry Potter and Sméagol, and then that's what I'm going to use as the voiceovers for the opening scene of this video. So right now I'm working on the body. Here I'm working on the legs, just putting in the shades there for the legs, which I ended up deleting. His feet were not nice to draw. They were really weird. Especially if it's not well detailed, because it's just shapes on top of shapes, it looks strange. But it was completed, so that's that's all right. So here I'm just tracing his cloth that he wears. So here, this is also another one of those trace images that I traced, and then I really struggled to see if what I was doing was working. It was, but I still think that the trace and animate Harry Potter was a bit more difficult than it was for this one, in the sense that with Sméagol I could see him take shape, even though at some points I wasn't really confident with it. But the Harry Potter one, that one made me lose confidence. All right, so here I'm just putting in the feet there, and then just adding some few lines on his bodies to, you know, to just add a little more detail. So here you can see his body is almost complete, just adding a few extra minor details. We don't want to make it too many details. And then you can see his body actually, it's done. That fast. So now we're going to the head, you know, just smoothing out the lines. So usually I draw with sharp lines, and then I just smooth them out. I've tried drawing with smooth lines, but I struggle with those. So I usually just draw sharp lines and then smooth them out as I go. So now we're working on the ears. You can see it's starting to take shape. We're drawing the nose, and then just little details. We don't want to make them too much. Got the nose, and then we're just drawing that frown on his forehead or forehead. My one of the teachers in high school says it's not forehead, it's forehead. I don't know. Right, so we're drawing the wrinkles on his face and just smoothing him out. It looks weird, but then those rings around his eyes are not actually his eyes, it's just the shadow underneath the eyes. So you'll note that in all the pictures that I do, I prefer to put a shadow underneath the eyes. Just always nice. So there, it's putting more shadows. Then this is the hair. It was actually the simplest part of Sméagol, because I thought it would be a bit complicated, but then actually it wasn't. So I've got smoothing out there. And again, if you find me not saying anything during this video, it's just me not knowing what to say. So it's weird sometimes when the video is like 15 minutes and I'm like, I've said everything that I'd like to say. So right now we're just gonna go for the eyes, you know. So I made them have 4 points so that it'll be easy, because his eyes are quite round, so that it'll be easy to it would be easy to make them full if we have to. So here we just copy and pasted his eyes, so you can see he's actually taking shape. And then the difference with this Sméagol picture is that for his lips, I didn't actually create them in this. I didn't trace them. So what I did was that I took an existing layer of lips that I'd done, and then I just put them here. But I think I'll do that last. So right now what I'm doing, I'm just doing the same thing with the colors, where I take the original image, I use the is it the ink dropper or is it the dropper? I'm not sure what that tool is called, the ink dropper tool, and then I just place around the copy and paste the colors basically. So they've got the hands. He is coming across as very flat, but then we fix that as we go along. So here I was just also adding a few more details to his hands, and then just putting it there, creating the hair. So he's actually taking form. So here I can see his eyes. So you can really see that I just play with 2 colors. It's much simpler. We could go to another level and use another 3rd color, but I think that would just complicate things, especially for, you know, the type of work that we're trying to produce. We're not trying to produce complicated work, just something simple that can be animated over and over again, so that, you know, if you have your own story to take, you know, it won't take you months to do it. So you can see he's actually, coming to life. So here what I was doing, I was just playing around with the thicknesses of the lines, making some lines thicker than the others. And that just adds a bit of depth, I think. And then you can see. So right now we're technically done with the tracing, and we're just adding our own elements to the picture. So you can see, just playing around with the thicknesses, just making sure the arm looks alright. So here I was actually happy with the results, but he looked too clean. And not clean in the sense of the artwork, but clean as in, you know, a Sméagol is not a really clean. He's dirty, if I can put it. So here I'm just adding those few, you know, playing around with the thicknesses. And this is, I think, the first image that I've done so far that has quite a lot of different thicknesses throughout, whereas most of them have been consistent with a few differences every now and then, but this one, it was quite consistent, like everywhere. So now just adding final touches, adding more shades to make it look less flat. And we're also gonna add a bone structure to this one, so I'm looking forward to showing you how I do it with this character. And I think that's the part that also made it take some time to do, putting the bone structure. So you'll see. So here what I'm doing is that I'm just adding those few, making him look dirty. So these are just these spots because his skin is not very clear. So you can see it looks weird right now, but once we do a pre-render, then you'll see how it comes out. And the best part is that all these spots that we're putting, they will be able to move with the bones that we create later on. So here you can see it's starting to look like a cheetah. The cheetah never changes its spots. I was gonna say a leopard, but I don't know the difference. I need to Google the differences. So here you can see we're just adding more spots to him to make him look dirty. You can see there. So in the render, those dark spots aren't as dark. So here you can see he actually, yeah, actually looks more like the character. So here what I did was I just used I took Bella's animation that I'd created earlier, and I just wanted the lips from it. So you can see, move the, just this actually cracked me up when the first time I put it. He looked it still does, looking at him with all those weird lips, but don't worry, we're gonna change them. So you can see here I was just changing the color of the lips to make them more dark, but it was really funny going them. And then you can see his teeth look normal right now, but we're gonna make them quite sharp when after we finish putting everything together. So right now I'm just changing the color of the lips. This was a bit tedious to do, but it was necessary as well at the same time. Otherwise, you saw how it looked. If you guys are enjoying what you're watching, please consider subscribing. I'm actually supposed to say this after the 5-minute mark, but I keep forgetting. So I'll just have to put like the subscribe thingy on the 5-minute part. So again, if you enjoy what you're watching, please consider subscribing, hitting the like, or please leave a comment. And I'm still at 0 subs, so if you have a suggestion of something, please feel free to suggest it, and I wouldn't mind doing it. Alright, so you can see his teeth now look sharp. So we just need to replace every scene, or not every layer, with those teeth to these ones here. So I'm just copying and pasting and deleting the existing ones. So you'll see I copy, and then I just move the layers underneath the lips, put them there. So this is the L shape. So you can see. So I think this is the last thing. Otherwise, I believe that the character is actually complete. So here we can see, you can see, yeah, we're adding that. You can see, that looks really good. Even if I do say so myself. Okay, so now I'm creating the bones. So for me to do this, I just need to separate the things apart. And the reason that I separate them is for the strength of the bones. So usually if what you've created is too close together, then one of the bones will influence the other mesh that's close by. So here it just helps a lot. I know that in the updated softwares that they've created, so I'm using 6, and I think the latest one is 12 or 13, Anime Studio, or they've changed the name to Moho Studio 13 or something. And it's not necessary, but this is the one that I could afford, or the one that I've had for a while now. I've had this since 2011, so 9 years. Is it 9? Yeah. So I've had this software for 9 years, and then yeah. Okay, so you can see here the head. So what I meant when the meshes are too close together. So here I'm just putting it back together. You can see here it's almost coming together. And then there, that's it. And this took little less than 10 minutes, I think, to put him together. So you can see now he's got movement. He can kick around, shake his head. His head was moving weird, so I had to move the head just some way so that, you know, it wouldn't look too weird. So saved. And then here I'm just playing around with the bones. Again, this is a test render. It's not for the final thing. But here you can see we're able to move him around. Nothing too complex. You can see it looks weird. Now it's always weird when you've got a character that's got the bones that are so in weird places, because it's easy to select the wrong bone that you're looking for. But you can see here, you know, it starts off and then it ends off with him hiding his face. So here what I did was that I was testing out the lip syncing to see if I'm able to make him lip sync. So you'll see what I'll do right now. It's just widening his eyes. So now he can talk. and now we're just putting a background. And every time you see a background, that means we're coming to a finish. Excuse me. Every time you see the background, it just means that we're coming to the close of the test render. And thank you guys for watching. If you do enjoy what you watch, there we go. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys for watching, and if you did enjoy what you watched, please consider liking and subscribing. And yeah, this is the last part of this Harry Potter series, and then we're gonna put it together for the final scene. Thank you for watching.